Hey everybody, this is ep1-LODWise, and today we are going to be freaking talking about Ducktales, the 2017, not a reboot, but more or less a branch off the comics. Now, when they very first put out this information, they were going to be redoing Ducktales. I was thinking, holy shit, they're going to do one of these disgusting 3D things that just looks like crap, like the old freaking Beast Wars. I mean, I was really seriously thinking it was going to be looking something like that. And actually, this new setup, honestly, is kind of has like a watercolor feel to it. I mean, it feels like maybe you're like watching an actual comic play out. I really like the art style. At first, I wasn't sure if I was really going to go, actually like it, but once you actually watch the episode and actually see it in play, it actually looks really damn good. It looks a lot better than if you're watching those teasers or whatever else, because they're really short. You really couldn't dissect the scenes and whatever else, but when you're watching the actual show, those are actually pretty damn nice. They actually came out a lot better than what I thought it was ever going to do. And so far, they have quite a few of the characters from the original series. And you have Mrs. B, her granddaughter, then you have, or Abigail, then you have the Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and then you have Donald Duck. I did like, though, in this show that Donald Duck is playing a bigger role in this show. I really kind of was hoping he would do that in the originals, but he never did. And that was something I had when I was a kid, and I just freaking loved DuckTales. But I was really wishing he would play more of a part in that show, and he never honestly did, but this one he does. Now, his voice, I don't know. His voice is right on, I think, but it's really kind of hard to understand him in certain areas. So you really kind of have to listen to what he's saying. I know that's how he always been, but that's really kind of the only downside so far that I've seen with this show. The theme song, though, I don't know. Okay, the original theme song was pretty upbeat. I mean, it was really just kind of, it didn't really stop. And this one, it just seems like the person is singing, which is kind of monotoned almost to it. I guess that's kind of the way it kind of matches the art style, I'm guessing. That's kind of the reason why it's okay, but I don't know, it's not as upbeat as the original one. Maybe that's just kind of where I grew up, we had the whole friggin' hair, the 80s hair band kind of groups or something like that. That's kind of, the kind of mindset I'd be coming from, but the new song is not bad. It's just kind of a monotone kind of thing. It really seriously goes well with this art style. So far, but every character we're seeing is nowhere near like they were in the original cartoons, or more geared towards the comics. I mean, Mrs. B seems like some old retired assassin. I mean, she's hard as freaking stone here, where the original Mrs. B was all, I guess, cuddly, lovely, whatever, kind of way it was, but sweet old lady. But this one, wow, she just seems like some freaking, drill sergeant type character. She throws a pin and it goes halfway through the damn wall. Either that wall was a piece of shit wall, which coming from Scrooge, you would think he'd probably buy the cheapest shit possible, but that pin flying through the air and going halfway through the wall, that just tells you either how crappy the material was or how strong she was. I mean, like freaking like Navy SEAL type, freaking drill sergeant lady. But I thought was really awesome is that when the kids were inside the garage, they actually hide when Scrooge comes in the door. There is a big massive stone circle or object they hide behind. But if you actually look at that, that is one of the coins from the old video game. And basically they're hiding in that, behind it from from the ghost and the headless horse, whatever. It's basically a headless horse walking around kicking shit. It's pretty funny, but it was really cool as that. Now, another really awesome part was when Scrooge is asking the boys if they like to play with marbles, which was great because in the original cartoon, I'm guessing probably the comics too, but back in the cartoon, that was a big thing in the boys' lives, because that's something they really like to do. They always did it at the parks and stuff like that. So that was right there was a big one, because like I say, there was a couple of DuckTale episodes where back in the day where they had the marbles, but instead they used like a pearls and stuff like that to play with, and their big smashers and whatever. So I have to say, I do like how that part is just, it was kind of really making nods back to the old cartoons, and it was really cool. They really just put it in there and then it was gone. It really wasn't something that they really crammed down your throat, which was great, because I really like that when they do that. When they just kind of show you little bitty things here and they kind of move on and don't ever talk about it again, kind of thing. Or maybe, honestly, these little things, though, a lot of people wouldn't even freaking notice. I mean, a lot of the newer people are going to be watching the show, like, okay, whatever, marbles, kind of move on. Or, hell, you never know. You may have a couple of them might say, what is a damn marble? You never know. I mean, some kids have certain toys that the other kids don't. Which also, Glumgold was in this one as well, and hell, he's exact the same as he was. Actually, kind of the voice was not exactly, of course, but it sounded really cool. On the voice idea, I really like how the boys, Louie, Dewey, and Huey, actually have different voices, so they're not the exact same, which is pretty nice. I understand they're twins and all, but sometimes they need to be a little different. I really like how they're different in this one. Also, that Launchpad character, everybody else is kind of pretty much different from what they originally were. Launchpad seems almost exactly the same way he is, some weird pilot pothead. I mean, that's kind of how he always kind of acted and reminded me of when watching him before in the other ones. So that's honestly so far pretty much about the way he really is. In this episode, though, he really didn't have a lot of voice. I mean, you see his character on the screen a lot, but he said a few words. He didn't really actually say a whole bunch, so he may be different on farther we go with this. And I think this will be definitely added to the Talking episode series. A couple other ones were taken down or whatever else, but this will be kind of taking one of their places. This is actually really damn cool. What's really awesome, though, is Donald Duck got his sailor suit in this first episode, which was pretty awesome. Because, again, another one of those little things that nobody else would really know if they didn't know the history of Donald Duck or, Ducktales or something like that. So that was really awesome, him to actually be able to get his sailor suit and stuff like that. So I really, really like that little nod back to his history, more or less. And what I thought was really awesome in this one as well, something I don't ever remember them doing in the original. They may have it. There's probably a few episodes I've never seen of the original show, but they were actually discussing the boys' parents, which was really freaking cool, because in the very end of the episode, they move one of the picture frames back to where it's supposed to be and kind of put the picture back in its frame, and they see their mother there, and they say mom, and then it ends the episode. So I was very curious, because that's pretty awesome if they're going to go ahead and start showing into that and start educating in that scenario where the parents are and who their actual parents were in this show. They've kind of said their names there actually in this one. I really wouldn't mind actually maybe seeing their parents, or maybe they're dead. Or I thought maybe, because the way it kind of sounded that he was saying it wasn't his, Scrooge tells Don that it's not my fault about blah blah blah, because it was really kind of hard to hear what he actually said. But I have to say, maybe his parents are alive, they're just lost on some, because it wanted some adventure. Because in this one, Donald Duck is Scrooge's old little psychic kind of thing, little Robin. I'm kind of thinking maybe they're dead, or maybe they could just be lost, out in the world or whatever else, which would be pretty cool, because if that comes back in, that actually would be building the character base even more and in a new way. The only character that is missing so far, main character I'm going to say, was the chauffeur. He wasn't in this episode. Freaking Launchpad was a chauffeur, and they didn't even know he was a freaking pilot. So I'm very curious that guy's going to come back, because now Launchpad has kind of moved towards the flying of vehicles and whatever else. So I'm kind of curious if he comes back in or not, or if maybe they just going to cut him completely and replace him with something else. So hey, this is going to be pretty cool. And the preview, I didn't notice that when I was watching it on YouTube earlier. The Beagle Boys was actually in the preview, but I was watching on Disney here, and I actually could see them in the little theme song thing in the beginning, so that's gonna be awesome too, see them. And I kind of like the way they kind of look too, and the art style is just really freaking kind of cool. It's really something new. And I was, like I said, I was really worried it was gonna go back into a stupid 3D modeled crap, not actual real artistry. This one looks pretty damn good. I really like it. So guys, well, honestly, hey, wow. If you guys haven't seen the show, definitely go see this. If you guys like these, man, hit those like button, hit those subscribe buttons, leave those comments and theories, and I'll catch you guys next time.